Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over and showing you how to install the CURT Trailer Hitch receiver here on our 2021 Mazda CX-5. And as you can see here, pretty much everything is going to be hidden behind the bumper there. Therefore, the only thing we can see is the receiver tube opening, which gives it a very factory-like appearance. Now, in regards to the coating on the trailer hitch, it has a shiny black powder-coated finish. This does a couple different things. Number one, it helps blend in with the vehicle's underbody paneling, and it also helps protect the hitch from rust and corrosion, being that it is on the underside of the vehicle, subjected to the elements. So adding a trailer hitch to your CX-5, it's going to be an excellent option because it's going to make your vehicle that much more versatile. Now, we can obviously use the trailer hitch for towing, but if we wanted to hit the trails or free up some space inside the vehicle for those long road trips, we're going to have plenty of hitch-mounted bike racks and cargo carriers to choose from. So in regards to towing, our trailer hitch here is going to provide us with a 3,500 pound gross trailer weight rating. That's the amount we can pull outward on the receiver. And it also has a 350 pound tongue weight rating, which is going to be the downward force on the receiver. So keep in mind, these capacities are for the hitch only, which is tested separately of the vehicle. If our vehicle is rated lower, that's the one we need to abide by. So our trailer hitch here does have the 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch industry standard receiver tube opening. Now this is going to give us plenty of variety to choose from, whether we want to pick out a ball mount, a bike rack, or a cargo carrier. So if we take a closer look at the side of the receiver tube, we're going to have our standard 1/2 inch diameter hitch pin hole, which you're going to accept our standard 1/2 inch diameter hitch pin and clip. Keep in mind, these are sold separately. They don't actually come with the hitch. And the reason for that is a lot of the hitch-mounted cargo carriers and bike racks do come with their own. But now, welded to the bottom of the receiver tube, we have our safety chain loops. Those are going to work great with both the larger style clevis hooks, as well as the smaller S-type. Now we have a couple dimensions for you that are going to help you when you're selecting your hitch-mounted accessories. The first one is the distance from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening. That's going to be right at 13.5 inches, and that'll be useful when you're selecting your ball mount. That way you can make sure you get the correct rise and drop to tow your trailer level. And finally, we have the distance from the center of the hitch pin hole to the outside edge of the bumper. That's going to be right at 3 inches, and that measurement there will be useful when you're selecting your folding accessories, such as a bike rack or cargo carrier. That way you can make sure that while they're in the stowed position that they don't contact the bumper. So in regards to the install process, this one isn't bad at all. It's pretty straightforward, and best of all, we don't have to make any modifications to our vehicle. So let's go ahead and walk you through this entire process step by step now. So the first step of our installation, we're going to be coming underneath the vehicle here, and directly attached to the bottom of the bumper, you may or may not have this little trim piece here. If you do, it's held on with a fastener on either side. These are push pin fasteners. We need to go ahead and remove this. It will not be reinstalled. We'll just take a flathead screwdriver or a pick tool. We'll pry down that center section, remove the rest of the fastener, do that on both sides, and then the entire thing should come out. So it looks like there's a couple clips on the inside here. You just need to depress those tabs and then it'll drop out. So now we need to come to the outside of either frame rail here, and our two attachment holes are actually covered with tape. Here's the one closest to the front of the vehicle, and then the one closest to the rear is directly behind this bumper flange. So what we need to do is we're going to be removing this tape. We're also going to be taking either a putty knife or a razor blade and removing any excess sealant on the frame rails. So the next thing we need to do, we're going to be looking on both the driver and passenger side. On the outside there where our hitch is going to be installed, we want to make sure that we don't have any wire clips or wiring harness attached to that side of the frame. If you do, you'll need to undo those clips and move the wiring harness out of the way so we can raise our trailer hitch up into position. Now, thankfully, our particular model doesn't have any wiring harnesses attached to the outside of the frame, so there'll be no further steps needed here for this application. So next, we're going to be lowering the exhaust down and out of the way so we can get our trailer hitch up into position. Now, in order to do this, we need to support the exhaust. Since you guys are working on the ground, you're probably just going to use some jack stands or stack a couple blocks of wood. Since we're in the air, we're going to be using a cam buckle or a ratchet strap. Just simply find 2 points on the vehicle here, and then pull it tight against the bottom of the exhaust. Now we're going to be taking a spray lubricant and we're going to be spraying down each of our 4 rubber exhaust isolators. There's 2 on either side of the muffler. You may only have 2 total, just depends on options. But we're going to go ahead and spray these down now, each of them. And we're essentially going to be prying that metal hanger from the rubber isolator. Now we'll take either an exhaust hanger removal tool or a pry bar to remove each of the 4 hangers from the 4 rubber isolators. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our trailer hitch, and on the inside of the mounting flange we're going to take our flat washers. So you need to distinguish the flat washers from the conical tooth washers in our kit. The conical teeth obviously have teeth on them, where these are flat. And we're going to be taping these to the inside of the trailer hitch like so. We're going to need to do this for each of the 4 holes on our hitch here. We have 1 at the back, 1 in the front, and since I taped it all the way around, make sure you go ahead and make a cutout for your bolt to pass through. But now we'll just repeat that same process on each of our 4 holes. So now we're ready to begin inserting some hardware into our frame. So if you remember, there's 2 holes that we revealed earlier. The one closest to the front of the vehicle, that's going to be a weld nut, so we don't have to worry about any fish wires or carriage bolts. But the one closest to the rear bumper, that's just an empty hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the fish wire that comes in our kit here. I'm going to insert the coiled end through the one we want the bolt to come through, and then directly below that we're going to have a large access hole. I'm going to place the spacer block over the coiled end and then thread on our carriage bolt. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to shove that all up into the frame, and we want to make sure that we don't pull it out that hole just yet, because we have to raise our hitch into position first. So I'm just going to shove the hardware up into the frame and leave it like so. We need to do that on the other side of the vehicle as well. So now with an extra set of hands we can raise the hitch up into position. We do have to come over the exhaust and possibly pull up on the fascia of the bumper as well. So once we have the rear bolts in, we should be able to pivot the hitch down a little bit. That way we can take our fish wire here and feed it through the opening in the flange of our hitch. And then what we're going to do is you want to make sure we do that on both sides, but then we'll lift up on the hitch, align our holes, and pull our carriage bolt through. So now we're going to take a 19 3/4 inch socket and tighten and torque all of our remaining fasteners. The 2 bolts closest to the front of the vehicle, those are going to take the 19mm socket, and then the 2 closest to the rear bumper, that's going to take the 3/4 inch socket. Now don't forget to raise your exhaust back up into position. And that's going to do it today for our look and installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver here on our 2021 Mazda CX-5.